Hi, I'm Jeremy Logue. I work for Aspire Bakeries. I'm the Senior Manager of Maintenance and Utilities and been here for 15 months. My role consists of managing all of maintenance and all of utilities, and that means that I'm responsible for all the equipment in and outside the building. The Walt really helps because of the communication. We have to be in every area of the building, whether it's on the roof or even inside on the production floor. Uh, Communication's key for maintenance in order to give good response and also to be able to give good customer service. The Walt has a time and date stamp, whether it's pictures or texts, and that allows us to be able to match up our critical downtime events and how long it really lasted or didn't last. Also, we know when something broke down, when it was fixed, and if we have to do any kind of documentation on it, it makes it a lot easier. Sure. A picture speaks 1,000 words, right? So when production sometimes calls and says that maintenance hasn't responded, we have maintenance guys that actually take pictures of being on location and at what time. So again, that helps with the accountability. So I do not have to reinforce anything with my team. One of the biggest gaps, honestly, is being able to translate, especially Spanish. In our departments, we have a large Spanish-speaking population, so the translation ability makes it very easy. If we go back to using our standard Motorola radios, we lose that. And then now there's a lot of misunderstanding and lost communication. They were good back in the day, right? But they don't work on Wi-Fi. You have to have repeaters everywhere to get good coverage. And their batteries, are totally different. Don't necessarily last quite as long, but you also don't have the feature of being able to find someone if they're down. Exactly. Price point's key, right? Anybody that's in the industry nowadays know that we face money crisis in certain situations. So being able to have something at a price point that works and that's efficient, that's great. Sure. So being able to have that faster reaction, especially with the translation, we now understand what we're going to go and do and what we're going to go and fix. So we can bring tools, be already equipped and ready to perform the job instead of getting there and assessing. Most of the assessment's already done between the pictures and the explanation. Absolutely. And that's critical for us. We need to make sure the equipment runs and runs efficiently. So right now, and it's just kind of rough numbers that we put together, I would say that we probably hit, an 8% increase in reaction time. And so that's good, which reverses back to an 8% decrease in the downtime because production can send us a picture of the belt that broke instead of us having to go out and identify the belt. Now we can come with what we need to repair it. Actually, yeah. I've been in the food industry and oil and gas industry myself now for over 25 years. And I could see this equipment being used in multi-functions. One good thing about it, explosion proof, right? So that can go in a lot of places. So yeah, the flashlight's helpful, right? Especially if you're not wanting to carry around a lot of items. Not everybody carries a flashlight on them, so it makes it quick and convenient. The ability, again, to be able to take pictures, but also to take notes, right? I challenge my maintenance staff to always have details in their reports. So sometimes they can't carry a pen or paper out on the production floor, but what they can carry is their radio. So now with that notebook function or the note function on the wall, they can put everything right there and come back to it later at the end of their shift. So yeah, I do. I don't let everybody know that, right? But no, it's very good. When I do hear it going off or notifying me, and it seems like it's doing it a lot, then I know that there's a conversation going on. I've got managers that they do their jobs very well, but I like to also stay abreast. I like to have the information before everybody else does. So between barbecuing or cutting the grass, I do occasionally look at it, and I just like to know. So a lot of conversations sometimes come up on whether or not we have equipment or making decisions, and especially on the weekend when the staffing may be a little bit low. You have more people that are available to communicate and bounce ideas across each other, because sometimes people forget. And in being in the position that I'm in, downtime's critical. So I'm watching that decisions aren't made in a timely manner. I definitely jump in and get involved. And when I can get involved on the wall or on my cell phone, it makes life totally easier. So from a maintenance standpoint, right, we give the radios a lot of abuse. The Motorola's, they got abused constantly. Think about the cost point when we were breaking Motorola's. The Weavix now, most common problems we see is it coming off of either the belt, or some of the guys wear the clip on their pocket, which they really shouldn't do. And they'll fall, they'll hit, the screen gets cracked sometimes. A lot of times the maintenance guys kind of complain about that because of the durability. Doesn't have a lot of capability of dropping and not being damaged. So to me, that probably could be a little bit of improvement. So if it's a full cuff over a belt loop, those are a little bit more secure. At least for maintenance, right? They're not easily removable, which could be a kind of a safety concern if you got hung up or stuck somewhere. But in reality, I'd rather them place the radio in a safer place and be able to hold on to it. They shouldn't be wearing it in their pockets anyway, or shouldn't be wearing it on a cuff or anything like that. But durability, I think, is probably the biggest room for improvement. No, we appreciate you guys and having the opportunity to be able to use Weavix, right, and help you guys grow it and improve it. We would love to continue being partners, as I know that we're going to probably be looking at this possibly from a company aspect, not just here local. So I think we keep working on a relationship, we'll be fine. Like I was telling you before, right, I cheated a little bit. So I knew about Weavix before you guys came in. So me and the consultant, Mike, we worked on bringing you guys in the beginning just because we knew that it was an opportunity.